Hi, this is Scott Wheeler. I'm back. This time I'm reading a letter of support kindly approved in 2025 this year by the Mountrail County, North Dakota County Commission regarding my efforts at honoring Lawrence Welk and the 70th anniversary of the Lawrence Welk Show's national debut. Here's the letter, and it is signed by the Mountrail County Commission chairperson. To whom it may concern, the Mountrail County, North Dakota County Commission is happy to support your efforts in North Dakota and nationwide to raise awareness of and celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Lawrence Welk Show's national debut and the positive contributions to music, television, and through that to America of Lawrence Welk, native of Strasburg, North Dakota, and Myron Florin, originally from Webster, South Dakota. The stories of both men are an example of what someone from anywhere in America can achieve, as they were both sons of farmers of the rural Midwest that persevered. The Lawrence Welk Show played a variety of genres, including country, jazz, polka, and patriotic, included tap and other dancing, and sought to be family-friendly entertainment. Its original run, including syndication, was more than a quarter century, 1955 to 1982, and repeats are still regularly aired across much of America, including North Dakota on Sunday evenings. Lawrence Welk learned values in North Dakota that influenced him in a positive way long into having reached his peak of success. We are proud that North Dakota has made this large, long-lasting contribution to American music and culture. Hope it and his memory will continue to be treasured and handed down to future generations, and that he and the show will be a source of inspiration for North Dakotans and other Americans long into the future. And sincerely, and this is signed by the Mountrail County Commission chairperson. So, Mountrail County is near, if you saw my last video, it's near Ward County, and Ward County is home to Minot, one of the larger cities in North Dakota. So I'm just going off memory. It's either like directly south of Ward County or maybe southwest. And so I think that's one of the places, that's one of the county commission meetings that I was given the opportunity to speak to call into. I've called into a number of county commission meetings in North Dakota this year regarding my Lawrence Welk project. I want to say that I've offered to do it in all of the counties, but maybe I haven't. Maybe in some cases I just sent them the information to see if they'd be interested. But I've had different experiences in doing this. For example, I've had a number of commissions either call me by cell phone or do Zoom or Teams, something like that, by video. I've also had places approve it without me speaking to them. I've had places that approve something, and I'm not going to say who because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I've actually had some places approve something and I guess forget to mention it to me. And I found out as a result of looking up the minutes or calling somebody that would know, somebody in the government there. And I found out that, oh yeah, a month ago we approved this, or something like that. So it's been interesting. Sometimes I get positive surprises like that. And those are my favorite kind of surprises, obviously, in general. Who would be otherwise? It's fun to have surprise you're not expecting, and not obviously when it's a bad surprise. But point is, I've had different experiences, many of them fun, exciting. I've had people in some of these commissions tell personal stories about themselves watching the show now or watching it with their grandparents or things like that. I had one commission meeting where somebody seemed to be doing a little bit of trivia about the show, like asking about a few people or something like that. That was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed that. It kind of felt like I was on the show Jeopardy, except for we weren't doing like, I'll take this question for 300. It wasn't like that. It was just the idea of like trivia type stuff. So yeah, that's one of the benefits, one of the fringe benefits, maybe you could say, of reaching out to all these peoples and places in North Dakota, is when you can have fun like this and you can hear people's personal stories, see how the show, what it means to them or meant to their family in the past or whatever, to see that there are still people out there, that they're not all, if there's such a stereotype, they're not all senior citizens like on Social Security in a retirement home. There are still people with a vote on commissions that have personal memories and happy memories of the show. So that's another thing I thought I'd share. So thank you again to the Mountrail County Commission for their support, and to the auditor for placing this item on the agenda. And if as I think was the case, I did speak to them. I thank them for allowing the opportunity to speak to them directly and be available if they had any questions. That's another thing I try to do, is make sure that if they'll allow me to speak to them, I can try to make a case, tell them, why am I interested in this? Why am I doing this? What's this about? What are the goals? And then if they have other questions related to this, I'm there and they can ask live. I don't want there to be impediments that get in the way of something that I'm working on being considered or approved. And so why not make it easier on all of us? I get nervous, as I said in another video, speaking on the phone to people that I have never met before, perfect strangers. You can imagine how nervous I would be, not only speaking to commissioners that I don't know, but commissioners that will be very soon, within minutes of me speaking, voting one way or the other on my proposal, possibly giving opinions pro or con or whatever. So, but I still do it. It's still worth doing. I want Lawrence Welk to be remembered and appreciated in his home state and across the country and across different age groups. So, if you're going to try to do something that you think is important, it's worth the risk. It's worth the investment to just, metaphorically bite your lip, take a deep breath and get on with it, and realize that there could be setbacks, there could be defeats or disappointments. There could even be unkind words at times. Although, to be fair, people have been pretty polite, as I said in another video, in North Dakota. They either are supportive or excited or maybe indifferent, neutral. I don't recall anybody saying a bad word about Lawrence Welk or Myron Florin. So that's a good thing. Nobody said anything nasty about me, like, why are you? People have asked, why am I doing this? But that's not necessarily a mean thing. That could just be out of curiosity. Like, that's interesting. Like, I had somebody say that it was interesting. Somebody from Florida would be interested in doing this. And that's kind of cool in a way. Maybe they felt honored that I'd be interested in talking about one of their native sons. But at the same time, that's interesting, even though it's kind of a compliment, because it was a national show. He was known nationally. And so it shouldn't really be a surprise that somebody from another part of the country would know who he is and be interested in keeping his contributions alive and recognized. That's my view. I know he wasn't a politician or anything like that, but because he was national and for so long, in a way, it's almost like wanting to honor a senator or a president or general or something like that because of the national significance over a long period of time. So, somebody shouldn't have to be from California to be, and I'm not saying that this is where they're coming from. I'm just saying my thought in general. Somebody shouldn't have to be from California, where Reagan was an actor and a governor, to be interested in his presidency or his acting career, or from his home state of Illinois, where he was born. And, you could pick other leaders, Eisenhower. You shouldn't have to be from Texas, where he was born, or Kansas, where he grew up, to be interested in his time as a general or as a president, or on the Democratic side, FDR in New York, or Jimmy Carter in Georgia. You get the point. So, but like I say, they may have just been curious in a fun way. And maybe if they could tell by my voice I'm a younger person, I can see why they'd be surprised, because as I said recently, there's an 18-year-old city councilman in North Dakota that was giving me some support and suggestions for the project. But in terms of people I've known personally, my age and younger, before I started this project, I don't think Lawrence Welk came up positive, negative, or neutral in any way at all, ever. So if that's any kind of an indication of how aware people my age and younger are of the show, then that's not good. It's better not to know than to have a negative opinion. But, when you don't know something that's valuable, you're really missing out. And so I think that's one of the reasons why this is relevant, is to either remind people my age and younger, or for the first time, get them to take the show seriously, watch it. Don't just look at the Saturday Night Live spoofs or satire of it. Actually just watch the show, watch the actual thing, go to the source, take it in for yourself carefully, sit there, watch it, analyze the scenes and the costumes, the people, read about the lives of the people and the character that a number of them had in their private life, and realize that these are people that many of them were decent, clean-cut people and were trying to do something fun. But in doing something fun, they were trying to make a positive contribution and do something that they genuinely enjoyed. And so One of the things I noticed before I wrap this video up about many people on the show is they've had celebrities on as like guest performers, and maybe certain people that were on the show became bigger later on their own. But it seems like a lot of them either just continue performing in connection with their fame on the Lawrence Welk Show, like in Branson or somewhere else later, or maybe went into private business, like retired from the music industry and went in to live regular lives. I think that could be part of the reason why among younger people the show isn't more well known, is because so many of these people, and this isn't meant negatively, I'm just saying many of them seemed content, I guess, to just go back to living a regular middle American life or something, quiet life, family life. And that's not a bad thing at all. The only concern I have about that is by having fewer people that, for example, people that may have been in their 20s or 30s when the show was on, right, that are now much older in their 60s or 70s, if they've been retired from a lot of the touring and performing for decades now, these are people that I don't know if PBS has reached out to them or not, maybe not, but I've noticed that either many or all of the repeat episodes of PBS shows in my area, at least on WFSU, they'll have somebody that was on the show fill in where there would have been commercial breaks originally. They'll give commentary maybe about their life or what they did on the show, what they're doing now. Sometimes they might perform something like a song, or even interview at the end of the show a fellow performer on the show. Like Mary Lou Metzger, I remember, interviewed Arthur Duncan at the end of one of the shows. And so some of these people that did that for PBS have passed away. But there are still people that are alive, maybe in their 70s, that were on the show. And I'm not sure if they ever did any of these spots on the repeats. And it would be great if that more of them would come out of retirement or their quiet life. And if that's part of the reason why it seems like out of 27 years of episodes, I tend to see many of the same ones over and over again, I wonder how much of it is because they haven't had more episodes where they could fill in the commercial breaks with people that were on the show. Another thing I'm interested in seeing is if we can't get many of those remaining members of the show to do that, if maybe children or grandchildren of performers or from the Welk family or Myron Florin or other people that have passed away that were important on the show, see if they, a generation or two removed, would like to do that. And that way you can also have a wider variety of episodes, and you can also have younger people still alive that are in some way connected, helping to keep it alive through their interviews and their conversations, their sharing of memories in those spaces, as I say, where there would have been commercial breaks during the original airing. So that's something to think about. I might try to pitch this to PBS or elsewhere, but these are some thoughts I have. Thank you for watching. Take care. As usual, if you like this video, please click the like button. Please feel free to leave a comment either publicly or privately. If you want to do it privately, the email is the70th-anniversary@gmail.com. Obviously, you can go below and just leave a public comment if you want to do it that way. If you have any suggestions of people to reach out to, if the information's sensitive, but you believe that they would be comfortable with me talking to them, I would prefer you give it to me privately to respect their privacy and everything like that. But anything that's not sensitive, if you want to share publicly, feel free to do that. Like how old you are, like if you're over 18, how old you are, where you're from, why you're interested in the channel, the show, your memories, advice, suggestions. Be happy to take a look at it. So, and please share. I would appreciate if you would share these videos and this channel, Lawrence Welk Tributes, with people. And I repeat again, please, if you're not yet subscribed to the Lawrence Welk Tributes YouTube channel, please click subscribe. Thank you and take care.